As I'm seeing, you have so much knowledge in all those domains, so many domains like technology, finance, patenting, marketing. I don't know how much you have. So just wanted to know all this while where were you and why so late? Tell me some story about you.
That's an interesting question, and I'm very really excited about, because this question can come from multiple different parties in the market and has actually been coming from many people, and all this while, to be very frank with you, I never had got a chance to answer this question on a public forum. And given the fact that this is also not a large public forum, it's a closed debate, a closed-knit debate, but I would definitely like to, very happily come to the point and tell you a brief story about myself and why the reason of being so late. And that's a very interesting story. I started my career somewhere back in 1998 after, graduating from my engineering in computer science. And for a while I actually worked for the government of India as a scientist, and I actually helped them design the high-speed multimedia LAN, and also was basically involved in part of academics also, where I was actually the senior guest counselor for the Associates in Information Science, a course conducted by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research of the Government of India. And also I was the authorized guest counselor for the SDC, the SARC Development and Documentation Center in Delhi. And I actually closely was interacting with the then Director General of CSIR, Dr. T. Vishwanathan, and who actually had handpicked me amongst a group of some 100 people as a scientist to work with the CSIR lab in Delhi. And I was actually exposed to a lot of different technologies, and I at that point in time was actually not aware of what exactly was patents. I didn't know anything about it. I was a person who was actually doing, coding in micro C and C language, and I was enjoying my job. I also used to, teach data structure, advanced parallel computing, compiler design, automata language control, system design with IC, and these were my favorite subjects actually. Amongst these, I'd actually like to tell you, one of my favorite subjects was actually compiler design. And also advanced, parallel computing architecture, and these were subjects that actually, invited me. They actually excited me. They actually pulled me to actually give my level best when I was inside the classroom of, conducting sessions for, people in higher semesters in Master of Computer Application and also in Master of Sciences in Computer Science. And I felt that automata language control and non-finite automata are certain domains, yet another compiler, that they were all very exciting and interesting for me. And surprisingly, I don't know when this opportunity came to me, that I actually started working in patents. I still remember one fine day I was actually called by the Director General of CSIR to actually start some kind of training activity for the people in AIS program for the subject called Patent Information System. And I didn't exactly know what is patents. And so basically I thought, what am I going to do here? So the one thing that actually excited me was that, nobody on this earth actually comes with all the knowledge from his or her mother's womb. And people learn all these things on the planet. So I actually thought, why not take this opportunity and let me learn something new, because all this while I was involved in, in computer hardcore computer science. I was also, by the way, teaching artificial intelligence way back in, I think 1997, 98, to students of the diploma students in computer science, and also machine learning and part of fuzzy logic. And I was teaching them, design and implementation of, sometimes intercontinental ballistic missiles with fault-tolerant computer guidance systems with RAID, highest level of RAID, redundant array of independent drives, and this was my interest area. So coming to these patterns again, I was told, and I didn't know what is pattern, but I just turned few pages in the book, and I found it is something related to, looked to me that apparently it was talking about some kind of, database management system and some underlying database. So basically I knew about the different database models, the relation database model, the network database model, the hierarchical database model, and the hybrid database model. I thought maybe I'm just play around with these concepts and tell them how to design and implement patent information database. That is what I was actually knowing. And actually, to be very frank with you, that was actually why I was actually put in and deployed there as a senior guest counselor to actually teach them the concepts of design and implementation of computerized online databases or offline databases that they could actually design and implement for the in-house lab or the library. And the destiny was pulling me to something else at the same time. And then I came across one of my mentors from US. He was actually a graduate in chemical engineering from Stanford and also a patent attorney. I was actually interviewed by him, and I cleared the exam, and I was selected for training for a year, a period of 1 year or so, and where I actually was asked to write in the exam an algorithm on how to explain the one-click buying system. And I did it very nicely, and I was selected, and amongst a group of 5 people. And then I came to know the whole world of IP, the patents, the trademarks, although I was not taught much about all those different topics by my mentor. I started learning all by myself, and that was a great learning, because when you start learning all by yourself, the learning is very, very good actually. And that was what I actually did. Now moving from there, I actually moved on further, and I joined Motorola Laboratory as a scientist with Motorola Labs in India, and I served for a small while with a company called Pangea 3, which is now part of Thomson Reuters. And I actually worked on multiple different technologies when I was part of the patent firm, which was actually a technology patenting firm. And I studied about adaptive multi-rate speech codec. I studied about different types of video encoders, decoders, and video codecs, and also packet reconstruction, jitter analysis, and then I was actually a co-inventor with one of the companies. I would not like to name the inventor, and it's a pretty large company, and I actually gave one of the steps in the design and implementation of the 1004-bit fast Fourier transform algorithm for reduction or elimination of motion artifacts in the physiological signals captured using a fast second-order derivative photoplethysmogram, that is PPG, for measurement, capture and measurement of SpO2 in a human blood level. And that actually excited me again. I got myself involved in understanding the techno-legal aspects, and then it became very exciting. Here stays that question again, to be very frank with you, because I went hither and thither, and I'm just moving away and digressing from the topic. I would like to converge this at a particular point to coming to the point that why so late? That's an interesting point. And why so late? To be very frank with you, I was late because all this while I'm a perfectionist. So let me tell you here that with a disclaimer that I'm not, while not blowing my own trumpets, and also while not boasting about myself, I still like to put this statement because it's too late, and it's never too late. At this age of 40 plus, I actually felt that all this while I was actually trying to be a perfectionist. I never rated myself at par with myself. So I had a competition within my system, and that was an intrinsic competition that was going on. And all this while I was trying to compete with myself to be perfect in everything I do. And by the way, the output of this is that, personally, I believe, and I leave it upon anybody in the market to as a kind of challenge, because I believe in challenge response protocol. And I would like to develop an analogy where there is a kind of a reader, RFID tag that is actually tagged to an object, and there is a RFID reader. So there is a challenge response protocol, and the tag actually, the reader actually challenges and the tag response. Now in my case, the tag is so powerful, that if the reader tries to, read the tag, I will flood the reader with a lot of knowledge, so much so the reader will be actually confused. And this is all because of hard labor. It's not I'm trying to boast about my own story. It's hard, very, very hard labor. I have literally killed myself all this while. I have degraded myself. I have actually suffered from hardcore complex, both inferiority and superiority complex, and that is called hybrid complexity. It's a very dangerous situation. You should never do that, because I have actually sometimes worked in a mode which is like destructive, analysis, where I've actually, killed the neural circuit inside my brain. And it has disturbed my peace, my sleep. I have not been eating well. So all this effort, but today I understand all that labor, whatever I have done, given free education to many people. I have actually given free knowledge to many students when I was a part of the Government of India Training Center, and I see that God has given me a lot in return. Okay, not maybe I will not say in cash, but in kind. It's a lot of knowledge. It's so much so that I sometimes am not able to, if I speak and record, I'm not able to interpret what I have been saying all that while I was actually recording. And it actually educates me. I stand before the mirror, record it, suppose it actually helps me to educate myself at a later point in time. This is the effort of this is the output of hardcore labor that I put in terms of my capital and time and manpower all this while. And that is why I was not there in the market. But still today I throw it upon an ethical challenge. And it's not that I'm only in IP or patents or trademarks. I know trademarks, I know patents, copyrights, trade secrets, geographical indications. I know digital IP code, semiconductor IP code. I know IC topography. But I also know R&D to the best level. I am to a point where I can claim that I am a person having ordinary, both I'm a person skilled in the art, in the domain of computer science, software and hardware both. It's that, I have not been a part of, as a practitioner, just because my choice of the domain actually diverted towards patents. So I leave upon you as an ethical challenge. Come and challenge me on any topic, and my dear friend, I vouch on behalf of myself that I will tear you apart. That's an ethical challenge. Thank you.